Hi, it's Michelle and I'm a certified holistic nutritionist, and today I wanted to talk about emotional eating and being triggered and how we can sort of use it to go deeper. So it's January and December was probably a month of a lot of get-togethers, a lot of family, and maybe a lot of emotional eating or overeating. Hopefully it wasn't, but if it was, now we can start looking at patterns that have happened. And usually January is a time that everyone is really trying to get healthier, or they don't feel as great because they had such an indulgent month, and it's a time to really start going into just creating more health and wellness in ourselves. So emotional eating is a very important topic to me, and I think everyone is sort of on a spectrum of emotional eating. I knew, I was, and I see it as a coping mechanism. So kind of in society, we're not really taught how to feel our feelings, or not to the degree we might need it. Sometimes we might have, sometimes we might not have, but usually the negative feelings or sad feelings or angry feelings are sort of shut down and cut off. And I still see this sometimes with kids, with parents. If a child falls, we tell them they're okay, so we're almost, not allowing them to trust how they're really feeling sensations in their body. And so, it's getting better, but I still think emotional intelligence we have a long way to go. And if over time we're constantly being told by our caregivers or someone in an authoritarian sort of position, our teachers, that we're okay, and to dismiss our feelings and just to keep going, we keep cutting off that part of us, and it's still there looping because we haven't felt the emotion to its completion. It's not processed, and when an emotion is not fully processed, it keeps coming up to be processed and come to completion. And so it lives in our system, it lives in our nervous system, it's re-triggered, and it creates we're in fight or flight in our nervous system. It never gets back to a calm state. Anyways, so bringing it back to emotional eating. So if we're using food to cope with emotions, we're still not getting to the root cause of what's really going on, because we really need to feel our emotions, sort of have resolution with them, and see what they're really telling us. So with emotional eating, I have this really good video that can kind of help you discern if you have thirst or hunger, or actually phantom hunger, which is sort of the emotional eating. And if you can start using that to figure out if you're truly hungry or not, you're really in an emotional trigger, then that gives you awareness. Because for me, I didn't know when I was hungry, because I would have an instant hunger and just eat like 5 meals in one go, and realize after, as I was like digging through, like, why am I still feeling awful, and now I feel awful I ate that much, that I was actually just had a trigger, jumped into the food, like completely bypassed like the actual feeling in my body. My mind just went straight into hunger because it knew that would be the best way for me to not feel what I'm feeling, because it was so uncomfortable. And the reason food and addictions work so well is they give us sort of this endorphin rush. They give us these chemicals that make us feel good in our body, but that is just a temporary feeling. And so if you don't go to the root cause of the emotion, it's still there waiting to be resolved, so you've kind of put it off. So with emotional eating, if you know you're an emotional eater, or you get triggered at certain times and you catch yourself doing that, if you can get into the habit of figuring out if you are having an emotional trigger, and then the work is to really go into that emotion. So I would, the number one thing I would want you to do is, if you're able to, is to actually feel that emotion in your body, to actually be with it, feel it, accept it, acknowledge it, and let it process. Let that wave process. So it's sort of like a peak. You'll feel the emotion subside, and allow it to just kind of let that energy move through you. That can be hard if we're told not to feel angry or sad. That's where our mind comes in and tells us to stop, or try to make a story up about it. Or if we're already in the emotion and we try to change our perspective, that doesn't work. We're just sort of creating more of a divide within us, because we're battling the emotion with how we should perceive it rather than feeling it and then changing our perception. So we're in an emotional state, our brain is in an emotional trigger, it can't be rational yet. So when you fully feel the feeling, and allow yourself, if you're very accepting and allowing, it's very fast. But if you are not, it might take a long time, or if you've repressed a lot, it will take a long time also. So you want to sit with the feeling and just almost like you're a parent watching a child, the emotion, and just feel it and watch it and just feel the sensations and allow it to really be. It doesn't make you bad or wrong or weak or anything like that. And once you've sort of felt the emotion, if you're really in touch with the feeling, you might see images, you might hear messages, you'll get the real information if you stay in your body. When you start going into your mind, you're going to hear a lot of stories, but if you go into your body, you'll hear sort of the truth of it. So you'll hear a different sort of story, not one that your mind, because your mind is really going to try to protect you from that emotion and take you away from the emotion with a story. So you want to be in the emotion to hear what it's really saying. So if you can do that, amazing. If you've been meditating, amazing. If you can't quite do that and emotions are scary to you and you can't quite jump into a feeling, you feel like you might never get out of it, you will be engulfed with it, especially if you're in it's a heavier emotion. I don't want to recommend this, but if it is that difficult or you don't have the time, you could sort of go for a walk, take a bath, take a shower. I don't want you to distract yourself. You sort of bookmark, I'm feeling this is the situation, but you almost try to bring it down a little. And then from that place, you might feel more empowered to be with the emotion. And over time, you can just jump right into the really sort of hard emotions. Just like go into the fire, which is the best thing and what I do. I try my best to do that because you're just in contact with the actual emotion at that point. So you can sort of give yourself some time to come back, and then you can start journaling about the emotion and just allow yourself to write whatever. Don't censor yourself. That might be difficult, depending on what you've been taught around emotions, and allow it to just come out and to feel it. And the great thing is that when we feel our emotion and process it, and then we actually relax our nervous system. So tears release cortisol, and just feeling, getting anger out, and just kind of doing all of these things as they get the energy and emotion out, it relaxes the nervous system, so we're at a calm state. So we've gone through the emotional wave and now we're at a calm state. We have clarity. And this is where we can have our rational mind come in and look at the situation and, or a calmer place in ourselves to come in and make a decision. Oh, I didn't like that situation. That job hasn't really felt good for a long time. What could I change about it? What could I try? Is it really my passion? And you can go deeper and deeper into what is really happening, because that emotion's going to tell you, I feel I don't like working here, but I feel I have to be here. All of these things can come up. Or I don't like, my relationship doesn't feel good. This is, I look to the food to make me feel better because I'm not feeling good right now in my relationship. Or, my family is triggering me, or childhood stuff is coming up. So there you can start really looking at what is happening. And when you have that awareness, you probably won't want the food anymore. Or if you've cleared an emotion, sometimes you get really hungry after that. So drink a lot of water and then ask yourself, what do you really want to eat? Now you're in this calm, clear place. For me, I would kind of be in this trance of jump into an emotion, be triggered, and want not necessarily cookies, but something sweet, or cereal, but with like lots of dates and just like eating so much. But when I was able to start doing this process and feeling the emotion, and I did get hungry, I started wanting like a kale salad or chia or something like that. It was just a very different, it was really what my body authentically needed. Like, kale has magnesium and it's alkalinizing and all of these things. Chia has omega-3s, it's, anti-inflammatory. All of these things my body was asking for. So it was really amazing to see that. And so this is a great way when you are in touch with your emotions and you feel them, you actually start hearing what you really want, and it's not this battle inside of yourself. So I hope you try those two methods out. Of course, if you are having bigger emotions or bigger things happening, you might need someone to hold space for you, a practitioner. Or if you just don't know how to feel your emotions, you might need someone to model it for you. So that's really important, and also to have that support sometimes when you're feeling harder things, or you're hitting blocks and you just can't, you haven't been in touch with yourself, you can't hear the messages. So try out those two things and let me know, and hopefully they help you, direct you back to, you know, that healthy direction after sort of the holidays and a lot of different things happening and shifting. And if you have any questions, please do let me know. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I look forward to sharing more with you. And if you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear from you, and I look forward to sharing more with you, and I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.